This is gonna be a video about the PS3 controller, right? So the PS3 controller. So like with the PS3 controller, right? It is a lightweight, and it is basically just like the PS2 controller, very similar, right? Except it is a wireless, right? So the base one was a wireless, and it has the a USB. Well, what's the oldest a USB cord, right, for the charger, so you can plug in that cord to this, and then it literally charges it. So yeah. So in terms of like a design, it is basically just like the PS2 controller. Now I remember back in the day, I remember like with the PS3 one, they would advertise it as it would have 6 axis. So 6 axis is basically like a motion kind of sensor, like on the controller. Certain games, for example, Infamous One, or I believe a Big Planet, they are required certain motion movements of the a controller in order to achieve certain actions, right? Like in the game. So the 6 axis wasn't. Other than that, the 6 axis wasn't like a big deal. Like you would hardly use it. Rarely I would use it like in any other game. The PS3 controller has that symmetrical kind of a layout, right? So you have the two analog sticks here. They literally are right across each other, and you have the directional buttons here, up, down, left, right, and the shape buttons right here, the symbol buttons. So it is basically like a symmetrical controller. It's funny, like with this controller, because the PS3 like is old now, so to find a controller, the actual PS3 controller, DualShock 3, it is very rare, right? Most of them are off-brand controllers, right? Another thing with this a controller is that you can press this, so you press the PlayStation button, and then it would turn on. So these 1, 2, 3, so it's like a player 1, player 2, player 3. It would actually light up, right? So if you're playing like a single player game, it would show player 1, 2-player game, a player 2, etc. So, and basically like this one here, the one you see here, the silver one here, is old. It is a very old one I had. I'm not sure if it works anymore, but when they work, right, like in terms of a response, a response time of the controller, a very good PS3 controller feels very responsive, right? It is also a lightweight, right? It is also very lightweight. Now, like with that, right, I remember back in high school, I remember people would bash the PS3 controller because okay, he's like saying, okay, this is it's too small for my hands. It's too, it's not big enough. But it just depends, right? Dark in the person. It just depends. I don't mind it. But the lightweight one, right? That is a benefit, right? It is very easy to lift up. I've seen like big PC controllers, or for Xbox 360, certain off-brand ones where they some of them I can get quite heavy, right? One of the biggest benefits with this controller is that, unlike the 360 controller where you needed what's it called, a Duracell batteries, right? This one is literally a rechargeable battery, right? So it is a rechargeable battery, base. So I don't have to spend any money. The battery is a rechargeable via the USB, which is pretty good. Now with the PS2, they had, I never mind. Those were PS2 ones with a Duracell. They had those ones, but like with the wireless PS3 one, right? You just need to recharge it. Another detail with this one. So one of the biggest differences between this and the PS2 one is back here. If you come back here with the L2 and R2 buttons, there is no back part here supporting it, unlike the PS2 one. So this was, this is a very, nice, cool, what would you call it again? A design choice, right? As sometimes, like I had a PS2 controller, and because they had the extra back, right? So they had an extra kind of line and layer here behind the L2 and R2. Sometimes the buttons would get stiff and stuck, right? But with this one, with the PS3 one, you're less likely to have that problem. Now, that is also a negative, because it can also be damaged easier, right? You can also damage the R2 button and L2 buttons easier if you're not careful, because there's less a support in the back. They had it with the PS3 controller. They added the home button. The PlayStation button, which literally sends you back to the main menu of the main UI screen where you can choose your games, etc. I think you hold it, then you can turn off, right? So you turn off the controller, or you can turn off the system, restart the system, etc. I quit the game. Now, in terms of colors for the PS3 controller, lots of colors: black, silver, red. I had a red one, but the red one broke. Pink, right? You're gonna see pink in this video. There's a see-through blue, right? I think there's like a see-through, that's a clear color see-through. And there's other ones like a custom, there's a custom green. I think there was a camo PS3 controller. And the interesting thing about, I remember when they would sell them, when these were very common in the stores. And you could go to the store and then pick up a PS3 controller. 2006 all the way to 2011. Sorry, 13, 14, 15. But as the PS3 got discontinued, the PS4 controllers literally took over stock, and then now obviously you have the PS5, the Xbox One controller, PC controllers, etc. But there are I seen some off-brand, like I mentioned before. There's lots of but there's off-brand PS3 controllers that can be used for PC. Now with off-brand controllers, you got to be careful what you buy. Sometimes they're fake. It is obviously off-brand or like a third-party brand, but obviously the quality is not going to be as good as the original Sony product. I had an off-brand controller, and man, the charger on it was ass, like absolute garbage, and it would die very quickly, and the buttons would get stiff. So you got to be careful what you're buying. Now I'm aware because of the rarity of the PS3, the Sony DualShock 3, it'll be hard to find, right? Like check eBay. I'm not sure about Amazon, right? Or your local Facebook Marketplace, a Craigslist. But if you check it, like if you look through a list, and then you'll see there are some out there, right? There are some out there, but they are rare, and you got to be careful buying these controllers, because there's lots of off-brand. Same thing with the Xbox 360 one. Same thing, right? But I would imagine as the controllers get older, like as a newer generations come out, and more advanced tech comes out, these older our technology is gonna get old. It's gonna get older and older, discontinued. So yeah, that is the PS3 controller video. Please like and subscribe. Thank you.